What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Preview time for round 3 of the Tri-Nations of 2020. New Zealand taking on Argentina. Argentina's first game of 2020 since the Rugby World Cup. The question is, how are they going to do? They haven't played rugby. They haven't been around. Yes, some players have played. What's the capability going to be like? What's the physicality, the fitness levels? All that is going to become into question tomorrow. But one thing I know for sure, Argentina are an amazing team with heart and soul and give it the absolute all in every aspect of the game. I take my hat off to this team for showing up. I take off my hat off to this team for still attending a tournament when players have been affected by COVID-19. I take my hat off to this team for being brave enough to show up. I must say, I got tons of respect for Argentina. A lot of people are looking at it already as a walkover because Argentina haven't played rugby. But let's not forget, New Zealand are a little wounded. And they got their loss for the Tri-Nations 24-22, which means Australia are leading so far this tournament. It's been a great one so far. I mean, we've only had 2 games, but already we've seen a lot of excitement between the rivalry of Australia and New Zealand. This is Australia's opportunity to win the Tri-Nations. But let's not count out Argentina. They haven't been around for a long time. This is the opportunity for them to shine. This is the opportunity for Argentina to surprise us, to shock us. And you know what the best part about this is? We don't actually know what the hell they're going to do. And for me, this team's got so much to prove. I want to see Argentina come off 10th place. We all know, if you watch rugby, this team deserves to be higher up. They're a great nation. Having said that, New Zealand, I've said it before, say it again. Probably the millionth time I said it. New Zealand are a team that does not often lose twice. They might have a poor game, but then they bounce back and destroy it. 16-all. Then they get a record win over Australia 2 weeks later. You got a loss now to Australia. Now they're playing Argentina. People are thinking walkover. There's been talk, is New Zealand going to send a B team? I know there's talk of some players already heading back to New Zealand, but one thing's for sure, the team that they've selected is not weak. You've still got Richie Mwanga makes his return. Boden Barrett goes back to the bench. Not the bench, back to 15. So squads have been selected. I mean, you got Pablo Matera in the Argentine squad, a legend, the captain. You got Nicolas Sanchez, Bautista Delgado. They are players in Argentina. They are players that have been there before, that have played this New Zealand team. And it's neutral grounds. Yes, it's in Australia. Yes, it's closest to New Zealand. But this is an opportunity for Argentina to shock us. We don't know what they're going to do because they haven't played for so long. They could come out on Saturday morning or Saturday night for you guys overseas and shock the world. But the favourites are definitely New Zealand. They've played the most rugby. They've played Super Rugby Aotearoa. They've played Bledisloe. They've played Tri-Nations. The boys are fit. The boys are bodily ready. The boys are physically ready. They are hard-hitting buggers who just know how to flatten you when you see it. And I hope that we see a good game. The key aspect here for both teams is discipline. Discipline was appalling last weekend for New Zealand. Argentina need to be disciplined. And if New Zealand give away penalties, they need to capitalise. Handling errors can't be afforded. New Zealand are one of the best teams in world rugby in the second half, especially those last 20 minutes. They are going to be a force. They're going to be hungry. They're going to be hungry for results, guys. And they're going to be hurting. And they're going to be wanting to silence the critics. Because there's been memes. There's been jokes. And they're going to hear all of this. And New Zealand just take it in, use it as fuel, and beat the living hell out of the next opponent that's facing them. And unfortunately, it's a team that hasn't played, that's going to be rusty. Argentina. New Zealand dropped position in the world ranking just because they lost to Australia. I mean, it sounds crazy, and it is crazy. They won the Bledisloe Cup. Surely they would have gone up. But hey, they got every opportunity to bounce back up. They need to pick up wins. It's going to be very interesting. Obviously, for New Zealand, the last game was a loss. And then they won 2, and then they drew. So, it's not very hot when it comes to New Zealand. We're so used to dominance. But out of those 4 games, where you got a draw, a loss, and 2 wins, you got a freaking record-breaking win of 43-5 over Australia, in Australia, which is outstanding. We look at the Argentines. Jeepers. They last played, actually they played Brazil. 40-15 was the score. They played USA in 2019. 47-17. Not big teams. England, Argentina, 39-10. Rugby World Cup. Not a happy one, but not too bad. Everyone wanted Argentina to win that one, but England were just too strong. Argentina played Tonga as well. So in the last 4 games that the Argentines have played, the biggest one's been against England. And unfortunately they lost that one. They played Tonga and they beat them. They also played France, lost to France. They played South Africa, lost to South Africa. So the record's not looking good. But this team can bounce back. This team is credit. I have a lot of respect for Argentina, and I really hope that they can do something to surprise us. Last 10 games, New Zealand have won all 10. But let's go back to 2019. The previous score, albeit this was in Argentina, New Zealand only won by 4. Then before that, it was 17-35. Not that bad. But even so, New Zealand playing in Argentina, playing in New Zealand in 2018, 46-24 was the score. So the score's not been too bad. As long as Argentina capitalize on points, capitalize on mistakes, keep their discipline focused and keep their handling errors focused. Because when you make a mistake, the All Blacks pick it up and capitalize. And that's when they need to be alert. As much as I want to see this great team of Argentina do something, I still feel New Zealand have got this one. They need to dominate. They need to score the points. They are currently on the tail of Australia. And if they want any opportunity to win in the Tri Nations, they need a win with bonus points and with scoring big points. I'm going to go with New Zealand to pick up the victory. They're hurting. They don't lose twice. They're going to want to prove people wrong. They've got a phenomenal team in. I just see New Zealand winning. But one thing's for sure. Argentina's got heart and passion. That's going to fire through. So may the best team win. I do think it's going to be the All Blacks. But don't sit down too comfortably, because Argentina could do something special. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you all real soon for another one. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe and never give up. Cheers.